Wonderful job. How about at strings and choir? Yay! Isn't that a great sound? One of my favorite parts of almost every concert I go to is hearing the orchestra or the band warm up. And you just heard a great example of that. And we're going to talk a little bit about what you just heard and why you heard it, because we're going to take you on a short journey of what we've been doing for the past 4 months. It's important, I think, for us to let you know the process of how it is to learn a wind instrument. And this is the band. We play wind instruments. We use our fingers, we use our, what we call chops. Those are the muscles around our mouths to play. We use our air, we use our fingers, and we use a lot of different things to be able to master the skills that it takes to play music on a wind instrument. We're going to take you on a short tour of the fundamentals that we've been working on. We're going to play for you first a scale. A scale is a series of notes. These are the first 5 notes that we've learned this year. It's called the Concert B-flat First 5. So here you go. And we don't often get applause for scales, but we'll take it. Now, I've used the word fundamentals, right? The main word that we like to, of course, use in the word fundamentals is fun. Okay? But a lot of it is mental, what we're learning here. And it takes a lot of practice time at home, a lot of practice time and focus and concentration during class. And after they get it, they go, duh. So there you go, fundamentals. It's all in there. We like to use the fun word, of course, a lot, because the more we know that the better we get, the more fun we have. The more fun we have, the more we want to practice. The more we want to practice, the more better we're going to get. So it's a circle that we like to use. So we're going to explore a couple of these fundamentals now. You might not think about it, but a fundamental is walking into the classroom and knowing how to open your case and put the instrument together. Okay? It took us a good day or two to learn how to do that properly. It's so important that we do things routinely that we don't even think about after a while. The second thing is they learn how to put it together. Right? The clarinet has 7 parts to it. You might not know that, but there are 7 things to put together on a clarinet. It takes a little bit of time. They're always the last ones to leave after class, because it takes a while to take it apart as well. Right? The trumpets, only 2 things. Right? They just stick a mouthpiece in there and they're ready to go. But they have to oil their valves and they have to do other things to take care of the instrument. So a third fundamental is how to hold it. Right? We have to learn how to hold it. It's not natural. These instruments are not made for the human hands to hold most of the time. So it takes a little bit of time to get comfortable. But again, once they get comfortable and master that fundamental, it's just natural. They put it up there and they play it. Now, after that fundamental, we have to learn how to produce a sound. And each instrument makes a sound a different way. Trumpets and trombones and brass instruments, they buzz their mouths like this. Right? That makes a beautiful sound eventually on a brass instrument. Right? Flutes, they just blow air over an open hole, and they have to learn how to form their mouth properly so they can actually get a sound out of it. Otherwise, they're just going, and nothing comes out. So it takes a while to do that. Clarinets, they've got, and saxophones got to play against a wooden reed and a mouthpiece, and put it in your mouth kind of, and you kind of contort. You can't talk when you play because it sounds like this. So, and they have to learn how to keep these things here firm so the embouchure works well and they can make a beautiful sound. And that's just the brief beginnings of the fundamentals that they have to learn to make a beautiful sound on the instrument. Now, one of the first technical fundamentals we learn to do is called tonguing, or articulation. As I'm articulating my speech to you, you can understand because my tongue is working well. Right? The same thing in music. If they don't learn how to tongue well, two, the music sounds kind of muddled and muddy, and it just doesn't sound good. So the first song we're going to play for you, a good old folk song from way back when, a nursery rhyme that we all grew up with. It helps that they know the songs that we learned the fundamentals on. They're going to show you a great opportunity on tonguing, and this is called Rolling Along. Ready?
14, Rolling Along.
Because they've been working hard on these fundamentals, but what they've just accomplished is really quite amazing. To be able to internalize, using your wind, things that we don't do normally in everyday life. When we breathe in, we breathe out. In wind instrument, we breathe in, we breathe out like this. We could go for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 counts. It's something we don't do. We have to learn how to do that. And then on top of that, you got to learn what buttons to push down, what notes you're playing in front of you, how long that note is, and what you're doing with your tongue. So they're multitasking a lot of different things at once here. And it's a wonderful process to watch. If I could record the very first day they played until now, we'd have a fun time listening to it. I always say that too, and I never do it. So one of these days I'm going to do that. We'll make them listen to their September band in May. But it's great. So now, they're going to learn now the next fundamental is lengths of notes. We have to play longer notes. Those are just single quarter notes, right? Just one beat each. Half note is 2 beats. They're going to learn how to tongue the half notes, but they're going to play 6 beats now without taking a breath. They're going to take one big full sound in. They're going to 2. So again, the music is articulated, and that's what makes it musical. So here's another nursery rhyme from old, and this is Hot Cross Buns.
17, Hot Cross Buns.
Great. Now, as you hear, the band this size, this is quite a big band. We have over 45 in here, including a tuba player in the back. Tuba looks great, all wrapped up the present, doesn't it, Randy? Yeah. Well, it's always good to have a tuba. You need that low brace. But one of the hardest things to do with a group this size is to play together. You know, a conductor can only do so much. I can wave my arms till I'm blue in the face, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. So we learn how to listen, to look, and to think while we play. So it's a wonderful thing. They're constantly looking at their music, thinking about the fundamentals they just learned. Then they're going to look at me every once in a while. Then they're going to look back down at their music, and they're always constantly listening to make sure that they're playing in time and not louder or softer than the person next to them. So another fundamental to learn is when we perform, we look, listen, and we think. So the next song we're going to play kind of combines all the things that you've heard there. Some tonguing, different lengths of notes, Now they're going to play 8 beats without taking a breath, and they're going to articulate it real well for you. And this is a song called Go Tell Aunt Rhody.
Let's go. I want the apple.
Do we have any Aunt Rhodys out there? I haven't found one yet. One of these days I'm going to find an Aunt Rhody. We'll dedicate it to her. Playing this one.
18. Go tell Aunt Rhody.
Now, along with all the technical fundamentals, learning how to play the instrument, hold the instrument, do all the things that we're learning, they also have to learn the language of music continually from their previous years. Now, for the past 5 years, they've been learning about the basics of rhythm, of notes, of names of notes, and all those things. And in 6th grade, we really apply them. They have to identify the note names in front of them with the speed and accuracy that you can't imagine. They can't think anymore, really, about the notes because they go by so quick. So they're just going to go really fast, quickly, note naming, and they have to put a finger into that note name. So there's a lot to learn on that fundamental side of things. And on top of this now, we continue to learn about the history of music. The next song we're going to be playing is by a very famous composer, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, who was writing music in Austria, in Vienna, about the time of the American Revolutionary War, when Washington was president in that era. But this is a song I think you're going to recognize, but a lot of people don't know that it's attributed to Mozart. Again, it's an old nursery rhyme, but we use it again to demonstrate some of the wonderful fundamentals. We're now expanding our range. We started by learning 5 notes. Now we've just recently learned a 6th note. And it's a little easier to learn now as we add a new note. Physically, they're ready to do it. All they have to do is look at the new fingering or position, and they apply it. It takes about a minute or 2 now to learn a new note, whereas it's taken us almost 4 months to learn 5. So the exponential learning is kind of amazing to see how quickly they learn things if their fundamentals are really solid. So you'll recognize this right away, but it's by Mozart. Ready?
A Mozart melody. So String Squire, you recognize that song? The ABC song, right? And Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, of course. Now when Mozart wrote it back in the 1700s, he was living in Austria, and French was the most popular. So originally the world knew it as Avez-vous de Gem. So my French is probably terrible, but that roughly translates to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. He wrote a series of variations on that we're going to learn a little bit more in the spring. A variation means you took the simple melody and you would change the rhythm, change a note here and there, change an instrument, and it would make it very different. He wrote a whole series of those because Mozart, when he was the students' ages behind me here, had already toured Europe, played violin and piano for the kings and queens, had written an opera, written concertos, written symphonies, all by the time he was 11. So when he became an adult, he really liked to teach pupils, and he wrote a lot of studies for his pupils, and the variations on Twinkle Twinkle Little Star was one of those. And we like to use it still to this day. So
you have a little idea now what we've been doing for 4 months. The fundamentals of our instruments. The strings have been going through the same process. The choir as well, continuing to learn the elements of music and the language of music. Now we have to put inanimate objects in our hands and make music with them using our bodies as well. So it's been a wonderful process, and we're looking forward to the spring, and we hope you get a chance to come out and hear us again, because just how much they advance in 1 year being beginners is pretty amazing. We know, I think through study, that it takes about 7 years to learn, speak, and write a foreign language. And they're on their first year of learning a new language of music, instrumental music as well as the language of music itself too. So they're doing a great job. We're going to play one more for you, and we're so happy that you could come out and spend your morning with us. We hope to see you again. It's fun to be able to work with these wonderful students, the wonderful staff and administration here at Van Gorder. We certainly have a blast every time we come here. Wish we could come every day. We only come twice a week. But nonetheless, we have a good time. So we wish you a happy holidays, and we're going to end by playing Jingle Bells for you. Ready? Look, listen. Hurry up.
38. Jingle Bells.
Great job, Ben. Let's give him one more hand, please. Okay, I was looking at the logistics of getting everyone out of here, and the choir and band and strings need to get their chairs and everything back to their classrooms and get their lunches. So if you don't mind, if you have like an emergency meeting, if you only exit through that door right now, and let's let the students, choir's gonna exit right now back to class, so that way there'll be lots of room to